Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for the support. Going to continue with the Bosnia series today. Going to tie a really simple red-bodied emerger. This was by far the most productive fly that I used on my trip last year. I think the red is mimicking the hemoglobin, something like that, as the fly is emerging from its shuck. But as I say, this and a dun version were brilliant. I'll tie the dun at another time for you. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Right, so in the vise I've got a Partridge K4AY SE. This is a size 20. As said in the introduction, I'd tend to tie these in 20s, 22s. You could do it in a 24s if you wanted. First thing I'm going to come in with is some sheer 40-0 in red. I'm going to start that just about where the point of the hook is. A couple of turns to lock it in. And then trim my butts out. So I'm going to counter spin my thread to flatten it. And I'm going to take this right down into the bend. And then I'm just going to turn my vise, just find that helps just not to catch it and thray it. And then I'm going to come right back up and I'm going to park my thread about where that point is. Don't want too big a wing case. So I'm going to cord that up now with a clockwise turn and I'm going to apply some of my tying wax. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to come in with a couple of CDC feathers. So I'm just going to align those tips up. I'm going to sweep all the fibres forward. And I'm going to pop that with the tips over the bend of the hook. And I'm going to, with a pinching turn, catch that in. A couple of extra turns to lock it in. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to cut my butts out on a slight angle. So I'm just going to make sure they're secured and come down to the eye. And then back up to our tying point. So I'm going to take a Sharpie. And I'm just going to darken this thread off. You don't have to do this, but I much prefer it when I come to tie the head and things rather than have that red on show. So then the next thing I'm going to come in with is some black superfine dubbing from Veniard. And you don't need a ton of this, just a small bit, and we're just going to create a little bit of a thorax. Slide that up. Just a turn to lock that in, and then I'm just going to neaten that up a little bit. And then just create a bit of a thorax. Back down to the eye. Like so. And then I'm going to darken my thread a little bit more. Just for when we finish off. I'm going to take my tying wax again. I'm going to put a healthy amount of this on, just to lock everything in. So I'm going to grab my CDC. I'm going to make sure I've got it all tight. I'm going to cord my thread up. And I'm going to take one turn and pull that tight. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to sweep everything up and do a turn or a couple of turns in front, and that'll prop the wing up a little bit. And then I'm just going to take our whip finisher, pull the wing up and do 3-turn whip finish. And then just for extra security, I'm just going to pop another 2 in. Just make sure it's all nice and tight. And then trim our tying thread away, and then I'm just going to neaten the back of this up, take these little fibres out that have just not long enough to pull over. Got a little straggler there, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then if your wing's a little bit long, you know, the Czechs do this quite a lot, I believe. You know, some people frown upon it. I'm going to grab my point, or my tips. I'm going to take a lighter, and I'm just going to burn those, and just burn them down to the length that I want. And just take away the singed tips, and you can barely tell you've done anything with that. So that's the finished fly. You know, as I say, it doesn't get much easier than that. You know, but it's a great pattern over there. Definitely one you want to get tied up. So let me know how you get on with it. Please do like, share and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care, everyone.